Hello. Welcome to the Run Amok Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Run Amok Podcast, home to the best Bachelorette recaps on this side of Minnesota. As always, I'm your host, David Stahl, and I'm joined alongside me, as always, by my loyal compadre, producer Gary, to break down the latest drama from our favorite franchise. Producer Gary, how's it going?
What up? It's going good. That was quite the combo of cities/states you had there in the intro. Mississauga.
Well, we're zooming around. We're traveling. I'm all discombobulated. I'm not used to being able to get on a plane, having the guys get excited to be back in Michelle's hometown. It's got me dizzying, but we are excited to be recapping this very, very juicy episode. We see one. It's kind of a little elevator doors of villains we've got this season, where one goes out and don't worry, we've got a new one. It went from, who was the original? We had Ryan, then we go to Jamie, then we go to Chris, now we're going to Martin, who might just be the mastermind behind all of these douchebags.
It's jam-packed.
It is jam-packed, and we're about to jump into it. But first things first, we got to do a bit of house cleaning and just tell the people, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, and most importantly, share with friends, family, your gardener, anyone, the local school bus driver.
Anyone who will listen. Yeah.
Anyone who's a part of Bachelor Nation, just whisper in their ear, the Run Amok Podcast. And then that's all you got to do. That is how you put the little tip in the tip jar. Rate, review, subscribe, and share the show. You guys have been doing a great job, and we appreciate that. Now we're going to go to a little listener mail. Just wanted to give a shout out to T Din real quick, saying, hi guys, I'm enjoying your recaps. The guys get to bro it all day long though. Someone could have given her a facial foot massage, Build-A-Bear for Michelle, had a one-on-one off to the side, and no one would have noticed. It was definitely a missed opportunity. That is in reference to, I think me and you, Gary, were saying, if I was on that date, not proud of it, but I would have been pretty distracted.
I would have done the same thing, yeah.
I would have been diving into some Duck Duck Goose, saying, "Oh no, Michelle can just join when she gets here. I don't want to miss out on my Duck Duck Goose time."
It's so easy to say that we wouldn't do it, but I can guarantee we would be.
We're just being honest.
Yeah,
I'm not a better guy than a Clayton or a Nate. No, sir. You keep that bar nice and low for me. I am going to be building the bear. Sorry, Michelle. But a great comment there. And we appreciate your new subscribing, T-Den. Now, we got a lot to jump into this week, Gary.
We do.
You ready to roll?
Yep. Let's get it.
We start off. We're back in Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Yep.
Michelle's home state, hometown. And we see her parents. Oh, dear Lord, is it ever a treat when we get to see Michelle's father in particular. Her mom seems sweet. Nothing against her mom. I might be in love with her dad. I might need her dad to adopt me. How'd you feel about, so we figure it pretty early, though, we are not getting the parent involved one-on-one. They say, oh, we wish we could be a part of a date or something. They're joking around or maybe they're serious. Thank God. The last time we saw it was with Barb.
With that, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need that. They can come at hometowns right now.
It's just a weird dynamic.
It's nice that Michelle gets to go home, though, and just see them. Like, that's cool. But, yeah, keep them out of the dates, for sure.
Well, and then we waste no time in jumping right into the one-on-one. The guys run up. They think probably maybe they're getting welcome. Maybe they're starting it off with a big group date or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
She says, no. I'm taking a one-on-one, and I'm taking
Minnesota Joe.
I'm taking Minnesota Joe. Was there any? Did you know as soon as you saw them pulling up that it was going to be Joe?
Yeah, like I was 99% sure. If maybe anyone else, Nate, but I figured she was going to save that for the next one.
Yeah,
because who else is going to get a date, right?
You end up being right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get into that a little bit later. It's a two-man race. Can we lock that in?
Like, I will not write off everybody because there are some people that have some promise still.
Oh, let me say that. Hey, look, I love Brandon.
Yeah.
I love Rodney.
I like Rick too. Rick's all right.
Rick is like a nice little warm blanket that Michelle gets to wrap around herself and say, okay, I feel comfortable. This is someone who's offering a lot of validation, a lot of affection. However, it's a two-man race. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? You're telling me she's Like, it's just not happening. I'm not trying to rip any of the other guys apart. They'll do great on Paradise.
Yeah.
I've said that all season long.
Yeah.
Brandon on Paradise is going to be electric. Oh my God. Rodney in the little summer apple suit, the little weathered down apple suit.
Yeah.
It's going to be spectacular, but you're not winning this season. But let's dive in to the Joe one-on-one. I said last week, Gary, if Joe got the Minnesota one-on-one, it'd be over for my Nate call. Well, it seemed like it early in this episode.
It really seemed like Nate was going home. Like I'm not even like, it seemed like they were wrapping up the season. Production was closing down.
Well, he seemed worried. He seemed really, like legitimately worried at the beginning of this episode. Obviously, it ends up panning out a very strong one-on-one later for Nate.
Mm-hmm.
But to stick to Joe's one-on-one for the time being, man, this is a deadly combo for any other guy because nothing gets Michelle going like basketball and Minnesota.
And Joe has both of those things.
Joe has both of them. And high school. I feel like Michelle really loves harkening back to her high school days.
It did.
We get a lot of nostalgia. And nothing gets a dude going like hearing, "You remind me of my dad and my brothers."
Yes.
How do you?
I
feel like that can go either way.
Yeah, that's either like it creeps people out or it's like, yes. Because I feel like a lot of people end up with someone who's similar to one of their parents, you know?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. So maybe Joe's like, hell yeah, like that's what I'm here for. But
sure,
it could go the other way. It could go the other way first.
I think it very much depends on the guy she's saying it to. A Joe or Nate, it's like, oh, awesome, because the spark is there. I think if Rodney gets hit with that, you may as well start packing the bags. It's like, oh, you remind me also of my friend's husband or my cousin who I'm good friends with. Like,
yeah,
okay, thanks. But they're playing basketball, and I don't know if we've ever seen Joe win a game versus Michelle, and she trash talks him.
Is he sandbagging,
ruthlessly,
or do you think she's actually just killing him?
I think she might just be killing him. I don't know.
She might be. I don't know.
She's knocking down shots from deep. I saw him airball one early, his warm-up shot. I don't know. But then that was kind of I don't know. I don't know if you had anything to say on the date itself.
It was basketball. It happened.
It was basketball. They were looking through the yearbook.
Yeah.
It was a mad nostalgia trip. Okay, cool.
I will say it was good though, because I remember earlier on we were like calling out all these hardcore dates. We got something simple now, so I'm on board with it. I'm on board.
Totally. And I mean, this was perfect for them too. They wanted a nostalgia trip, and that's what they got. I will say, Michelle goes like, this was so telling that like, good luck to every other guy, I guess besides Nate. She goes, Mr. Basketball, Mrs. Basketball.
It just
sounds
works.
pretty good.
Yeah,
it just works. First of all, fair enough. That's a very, 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 very telling statement. Second of all, Michelle, you weren't Mrs. Basketball though, right? She didn't want to admit it the first time. She goes, and I was Mrs. Basketball.
No, you weren't.
Runner up.
Close enough.
the chick who won it over her is watching this season, being like, well, you can't just speak my legacy out of existence. This isn't fair.
Slowly gaslighting us. She initially was like, okay, I didn't win it, and now she's like, Mrs. Basketball. That's me.
By the end of the season, I will legitimately be convinced that Michelle won the Minnesota Mrs. Basketball award. But anyways, we go to dinner though. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was writing down, I was joking that like, oh, I've heard this story from every dude playing pickup at university. Like, oh man, I would have been varsity if it wasn't for this damn knee. But obviously it gets to a very real place where he's talking about the depression and the anxiety that comes with losing that dream. Mm-hmm. It got very deep. It did seem to me like he had never talked about that before in his life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got the same vibe.
He said that. He's like, I don't really tell a lot of people this. It seemed like that was the first time he talked about it since it happened.
At least that deep.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a tough thing to hear, because not only did it ruin his like dreams of playing basketball, but it wasn't even really his fault. Like, it's just out of his control, which just that'd be tough to handle, especially when you're like that caliber of a basketball player. Like, it's just sucks.
And sometimes when guys are shy and a little understated, a little quieter, it's tough to tell is there anything more to you, because we only get so much time. And I think this was a good indication of the fact that Joe has some substance, that he has some stuff to say, and there's more to him than just basketball in Minnesota. It was a really, really neat insight. Let me say this, because I totally forgot until I saw a tweet last night that there were, and we've had people comment like, "Oh, I still don't trust Joe." I totally forgot about the DM situation.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
it kind of left my mind until I think like halfway through the date, I was like, oh yeah, this still is kind of weird thinking back to it, but I think it's out the window at this point, right?
To me, it's out the window. Like, I've seen
Yeah.
enough of him to be like, this dude just seems genuine and shy. And his shyness, to me, is a sign of like, okay, it's plausible that he just wasn't really in the mood to have Michelle back. And in a way, it's a little less sketchy than if she was on Matt's, because this was before Matt's season aired, right? So he didn't know that she was. So I don't know. I understand there it was sketchy at the time, but I'm just saying, like, I think at this point in the season, most people are just like, Joe seems cool.
Well, if it was someone like a Rodney that was in this situation, I'd be like, okay, so you probably just like, you didn't, like, you would have DM'd her back, right? Like, but Joe's quiet confidence speaks to the fact that maybe he just wasn't in the mood, and just
like, if it was a Nate, as much as I love Nate, I'd be like, because this dude messages back. I think that's a dude who hits up the DMs back if he is at all interested in a girl. But I had to write down just before the group date, Chris, the American Psycho. He's
having his own Joker arc. Like, seriously.
Yes.
It was so funny to watch. I felt like I was watching the movie The Joker like 3 times during this episode.
Here's a question. How drunk do you think he was? Because I think a decent amount of this was just being overserved, because we see him with a drink in his hand.
For sure. Like,
he's swigging.
At the end, I think very drunk. For sure. Yeah. Like, especially, not to get ahead, but when he was sitting in that room alone, it seemed like he was having trouble standing up. I don't know, but
well, it seemed like he was having trouble the whole lot. It seemed like there were a lot of emotions flowing through that man's brain. But I do think, and this is not confirmed, this is pure speculation, I do think he's killed 5 sorority girls in his day when he was a part of Omega Sigma Chi, or whatever horrible frat he was a part of in college. This dude is such a caricature of like frat guy little man syndrome. And he goes down the rabbit hole. I'll get into this a bit later, but we do see Martin talking to him. I'll just leave that there. We see Martin chatting with him.
We'll get into it later. But
But Martin, my man, you, at a certain point, you are who you surround yourself with. And I have not seen you be friends with a non-sketchy guy yet. But anyways, we'll dive into the group date first. And this is really, you're talking about Joker arcs. A tough look for Chris.
Very tough.
So here's a question. Could they not get, you don't think they could get a single Minnesota Viking? Do you think that was the issue? They just couldn't get anyone from the team?
No, they could have definitely got it, because those those 3rd string, 4th string guys, like, they'll do anything. Get some from the
practice squad? Yeah, of course.
Anything. Like, they could have definitely got it, but that's not Bachelor Nation. They're not.
No,
they're not pulling the Minnesota Vikings. They do the switch.
They pulled a little juke on us. But here's a great quote of the episode from Chris. I don't know if he was even drunk at this point, heading into the group date. He goes, "I'm going to stand out from the other guys because I'm Chris, and they're the other guys." Honestly, fair enough. Can't argue with that.
Honestly, not a bad quote coming from anyone else, but
not a bad quote. If Rodney or Brandon throws that out, then I'm loving it. But with Chris, I'm cringing up a storm. Man, the producers hate him, though. Or they know that, because, dude, once again, first of all, they match him up with Olu once again for the arm wrestling competition. This man is just, it's barbecue chicken to him. He's just having a nice, easy, tasty meal with Chris every time. I think he was against him last time too, on the pillow fight date or whatever the last physical date was. Keeps getting matched up, and Chris is coming out in the horse costume. No one else is in an animal costume.
Don't forget though, he threw the farthest log and nobody cared.
Dude, when
that
he
was
claimed
the toughest look in TV history. He threw it and he's like, I threw the hardest log. I threw the farthest log. He was like whispering it to people.
Also, it looked like it went nowhere too. I think he must have gone like second or third, and they edited it to the end. I don't know why they would do that, but it was just, when I looked at that throw, I thought, no way it went the furthest. Chance. But yeah, I love how he was going around like you know it went the furthest, right? You saw that. Very tough look. And I guess his thoughts were, and we can get into this later in the well, I guess we'll chat on it right now. Very, very weird that his whole thing is, oh, the guys aren't making an effort. Some guys think they have it in the bag. Then Michelle, and someone commented, I think it was SH, who's commented some great stuff on our post before. She commented last week, he commented last week. Isn't it weird that Chris was saying guys are cocky? And then after he says that at the rose ceremony, I think it was Olu asked him, like, how you feel? And he goes, oh, I got it in the bag. I'm getting my rose. Does the same thing this week, pretty much, where he just completely contradicts himself, where all the other guys are making small moments, which is, first of all, the grossest date for them to make small moments. Like, of course, they're eating fish brains and
fish,
all this gross, and they're all sweaty. And this is the one where they're kissing her and hugging her. Oh, okay, I actually could use a few less small moments, but his whole approach is, well, I stood up and embarrassed her in front of everyone, so she should be coming to me now. And even at the dinner after, he completely he doesn't go up to her, and she barely notices.
Like it's on her, like.
Oh,
I don't care what you do, Chris. It's never on her to make time. You're the one who has to go up to her. Like
Oh, and he's mad at her.
So mad. Yeah. I don't know if we're jumping ahead a little bit here, I think, because but at the end, when she comes into the room and sits down and she's like, I'm gonna, like, this is it, the night's over. He like rolls his eyes at her.
And he goes,
okay.
He melts.
Wow.
And then I don't know who calls him out, but Brandon's pretty much like, oh, you've been smacking your lips all night, buddy. What do you have to say?
Yeah.
And dude, they're all looking at him like, you're on another planet. Like, first of all, even someone like a Nate and a Joe can't pull off that.
No.
We saw last week that she's in love with Nate, and even she was like, I'm not going to be just kind of cast aside or not ignored, but I'm not going to be sort of not appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's certainly not taking it from Horseshoe Chris. But anyways, we do get Clayton that he gets the group date rose. He is named the ultimate Viking, which seemed unnecessary. I think we probably could have just walked in and they could have been like, oh, well, you're the ultimate Viking.
After the screaming contest, it was over. Like,
he is a Viking.
Yeah. Like, he's the size of one. He's the size of two, honestly.
Man, but here's my thing. So this is, I suppose, I think this is their chance to just show that Clayton is an interesting person, because he's going to be, spoiler alert, the next Bachelor, I suppose. I still know nothing about this guy. I know nothing about him, even with his big date today. All we learned is, oh, you made a bunch of small moments. And he's like, yeah, I'm starting to come out of my shell. Do you like it? She goes, yeah, I do. And that he's a literal giant. That's all we know about him.
Well, it feels like a Leroy, like one of those people that's in the background just getting screen time for no reason. It's like, why?
Exactly. Like, if we didn't know that he was about to be the Bachelor, I wouldn't. Who is
this guy?
I wouldn't know him. I would know his name because he's enormous. Yeah. But I would think, oh, that guy might do well on Paradise. Like, maybe because he's big. And let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to rip anyone apart. I would love to be correct in the comment section. And I think I made it clear. I am not averse to complimenting a man's good looks. Nate and Joe, spectacularly good-looking gentlemen. Joe has eyes that could end a war. Olu, extremely handsome. But are we? Is Clayton handsome? Is Clayton a hunk? Are we sure?
I think he is to some people. Okay. I wouldn't give him like hunk status, but he's like
hunk status is a little high.
Hunk status is high. He's good looking for sure.
Okay.
But
I'm just wondering.
Bachelor ready? I don't know.
Is he
I
Bachelor
think he
hot?
needs to switch up the hair. I think he's kind of got almost the zoomer perm going. Like, it's kind of getting to that point.
I think he might just be too big. And I don't mean that. I don't mean, hey, the guy's in fantastic shape. I don't mean it in any body shaming sense, just pure mass and volume. The guy is enormous, and that's fine. But I just cannot get over it. Every time I look at him. I don't think we're
speaking out of pocket here either, because I remember there was controversy when The Bachelor got leaked that a bunch of people dropped out. So clearly,
and which is I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, that would be tough to stomach. He's such a nice guy.
I'm sure it happens more than we know.
No, yeah,
but it is a tough look for sure. But they'll fill those spots, no
problem.
But
yeah, we'll see. And I like him as a guy. He seems like a great guy. Once again, I don't know if there's any depth there, but Michelle is very attracted to Brandon.
Yeah,
and she brought him the Swedish fishes. Then she brought him a cake. She really likes this guy, and people keep bringing up in the comment section like, "Oh, don't forget about Brandon. Don't forget about Brandon." Fair enough. We have given Brandon, we didn't really mention his group date rose last time. I think he would have gotten another this time, but it kind of had to go to Clayton, and he had gotten one last time. So I think she's trying to spread it around a little bit, but she really likes Brandon. How far do you think he goes?
I think he honestly might make it to hometowns, but I don't know how you feel about it, but it just feels like a teacher-student relationship. Like, he just seems so young compared to Joe.
He does.
And Nate. Yeah. Not that he is. He just has the baby face. Like, I just can't not see him as like a...
To me, it feels like a high school fling a little bit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, this is really fun.
Really nice and fun.
Sure.
But does it have any, like...
I just don't know if it has potential.
The legs. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I would agree. I think he's top 4. If I'm guessing, I think we're probably going... I think Rodney is 5th. Then I think we got Clayton and Brandon. Oh, it's tough. Then we got Rick.
Yeah, I don't know. Brandon might get snubbed out, but I think it's between Rick and Brandon for that 4th spot.
I think Rick and Brandon are battling. Yeah. But again, 2-man race. But that's okay. That's okay. Here's okay. So Casey, he has some great commentary towards Chris. He goes, "Oh, if you thought he was desperate last," he says this is the roast ceremony, but he's roasting Chris during the group day. He goes, "Oh, if you think he was desperate last week, just wait till this week." And he has some great quotes. I honestly, it's going around now. I think I was the first to compare him to Dax Shepard. Not that I need any credit. I'm just saying, said it early. Very, very, very cool guy. I like him a lot. He's a art director of advertising or something in that realm. He has a very cool job. We say goodbye to him. But here's the thing. Here's the tough part. I want more Casey in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think he makes any sense on Bachelor in Paradise.
I'm almost making an argument that he deserves Bachelor more than Clayton. I think he'd make a decent Bachelor. I'm not even kidding.
I think he'd make a decent Bachelor too. I actually don't even hate that.
Yeah.
You know what I think his perfect role is? What he's doing right now. Throw him into another Bachelorette season.
Keep throwing him in the season just to mediate.
Yeah. And maybe maybe he finds love. Maybe we get him on the right season eventually. But until then, just keep peppering him in. We got more Casey for you.
Seasons, just throw him in. Just be like,
sure, yeah. I think he's the perfect guy to be like, oh, this is a handsome guy. He's nice enough. Gives some great commentary. Yeah. Probably helps be a barometer of who's a douchebag in the house. I'm a big Casey guy, but we do say goodbye to him. And do you agree? I feel like just Bachelor in Paradise isn't his vibe.
No, it doesn't feel like it. He seems like, I know Grocery Store Joe's popular on Paradise, but it didn't seem like his vibe either. So
no, I think it's similar in that sense. Yeah. I think Casey, I don't know how old. I think he's like only like 33 or something ridiculous. Yeah. I don't think he's that old, but he looks older, acts older. And I mean both of those in good, fine ways.
Maturity and Paradise, really.
There are so many guys on this season that will do fantastic in Paradise. I don't know if this is a vibe. Yeah, you're right. Maturity and Paradise do not coexist often. Now let's jump into but again, just to wrap up the whole Chris situation here before we dive into the Nate date, he is like one step away from negging her, like being like, "Oh, your hair does a great job of distracting from your chin." Like you're just something absurd. Like, his mindset is so backwards, and we kind of see that culminate. I think he's just very insecure. I think this week it was probably even last week too, looking around and being like, shoot, especially with the Chris G's gone and whoever else went last week. Maybe it was Peter, maybe it was, or no, I think it was Will last week. Those sort of guys that never really had a real shot. I think now it's looking around and being like, shoot, I don't really have much time left here.
Yeah.
And just trying to maybe see if he can cause enough chaos to make it through. But we get Nate's date. Nate gets the one-on-one, finds out very quickly it's going to be a group date. Let me ask you this. Do you think he was happier or less happy when he found out it was the friends and not the guys?
Oh, I think he was definitely happier.
Happier, yes.
But still, even just having people on your one-on-one's kind of a buzzkill. But I'm glad they weren't around the whole time. Like,
thank God.
But yeah, that would be a tough look. Like, really?
Well, it's kind of intimidating. It's like, oh, sweet. Yeah. We get to be trapped on a boat too? Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, I might get thrown overboard or something.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Sign me up. Her friend seems nice, but in principle, I do have to hate her after she told Michelle to stay in her power. Yeah. I don't hate that. Didn't like that. It kind of sounded like a minister's daughter, like saying something in a judgmental way. Like,
well, and that same girl seemed like she's very judgy when it comes to like Michelle's partners. It seemed like she's like gatekeeping Michelle. Like, that's what it felt like.
They seem nice enough.
You gotta stand up for your girlfriends, but like, you do have to lay back at some point. You gotta let. You gotta let. And I
just hate that expression. Like it's not. You hear Becky? She lost her virginity at summer camp. She couldn't stay in her own power. Like, just like it's just seems like I'm cringing. So don't say that.
Now that you say pastor's daughter, I see that.
You see it. Like very horse girl vibes, which is fine. I'm not. They seem very nice, and they really seem to like Nate as well. And they're asking about like, do you have any conflicts in the house? Truly, they are fans of Bachelor Nation. Like, they might watch this podcast because that's what we'd be asking. Like, who you got beef with in the house? Yeah. And Nate's, honestly, he shows off the security there where he's like, yeah, there's some, but someone threw my name out. Like, he doesn't really pay much mind to it at all. Mm-hmm. Once again, like, this is kind of his MO. And yeah, I think that went well. Then we go to dinner. They're at the top of some, I don't know. I'm sure Minnesotans are cringing right now that I don't know the building. I'm sure it's an iconic building, but some tall building with windows. Yeah. And a bunch of tall ass elevators or escalators, I should say. But sure, look good. And Michelle goes deep with Nate because he's talking about how he likes having that playfulness in his relationships. Mm-hmm. And she talks about how she requires that because she had a toxic relationship that was so bad. That toxicity made her physically ill. There was a lot of like disbelief, it sounds like, from doctors and obviously her partner, and just a really traumatic situation, borderline traumatic situation. To me, it was really telling because she has not opened up like that with anybody. And I do think that she would with Joe. I think they're in that sort of space for sure. Mm-hmm. But to me, it was more an indication of, her and Nate are actually pretty far along. Yeah. She says she's falling for him. I think she loves him and Joe. Like, I think this is going to be one of the better seasons.
After Joe's date, I was like, oh, it's a lock. Joe's taking it home. But then after Nate's date, I was like, oh, damn. Like,
it's an open race.
I don't know. I think Nate might be the top guy. Like, it's close.
Well, I think what makes this season fascinating too is they're so diametrically opposed. Like, they're so different. They contrast each other perfectly. Where Joe is, look, and there's nothing against Joe. He is extremely handsome, has a great personality. They have a ton in common, but he's a safer choice. He lives in Minnesota. They know what their life is going to look like. You can already imagine their kids running around with literally eyes that could melt the sun. Yeah. Being a basketball star, like, that life is very imaginable. But Nate's a little bit of the bad boy.
Fun,
a little more fun. He's got the earring in, and he's pulling it off too. Not a lot of people can. It's just him and Michael Jordan. And I think, that's a tougher life to imagine. I don't know where Nate lives. I think it was maybe somewhere down south now. Originally from Canada, people forget, but. Yeah, I think they just offer such different things, which makes this season so fascinating.
Yeah, I think if Michelle could fuse them together, that'd be like her ideal situation. Mm-hmm. But like, thinking about it realistically, like, she has a full-time job. She's a teacher. I feel like she's looking to settle down. Yeah. I feel like Joe might answer her prayers a little bit more than Nate, maybe.
Sure.
But still,
and a lot of people sober up near the end and go, oh, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
I do need to think about real life.
That's what I think is
that
gonna
could be
happen
a
with
factor.
Brandon. I think that is specifically what's wrong with Brandon.
Yes.
I think it's like, okay, this was fun.
Yeah.
But sorry, like you gotta go. Yeah.
That might be the clip that we see of her crying and saying the relationship is not progressing.
Yeah.
I think that feels him or Leroy, that feels right up their alley. But a great moment from Nate. And do I have anything else on that? No. To me, it is tough because, again, Nate to me is just the epitome of cool.
Yeah.
And Joe's not uncool, but it's just they're different in that sense.
I think Joe's super cool, man. It's the quiet confidence.
He's very cool. He's very cool, but they're different. They're just different brands. They're different breeds of man. Yeah. But then we get Chris walking in. He's I couldn't even make sense of his.
I'm not even kidding you when I say this. I skipped this part of the episode. Like I just fast forward. I cannot watch this. It's gonna be so cringy, and I couldn't handle it.
Way!
I couldn't.
Did you? So the whole interaction between her and
most of it. I saw some of it, but I just couldn't like.
Well, then it's a true real time recap. I'll run you through what you missed. And you're not wrong. It was cringy, my man.
Yeah.
It was cringy. Nate, did you see Nate's expression when Chris first comes up, though? He hits us with a great Justin Glaze. He is the Justin Glaze of this season. Hits us with a... Which I love.
They both looked like they were cowering in fear when he walked up there. Like, what?
Yeah,
what is this?
Literally. But at the same time, Nate really hasn't even done anything to Chris. He just kind of keeps swatting him away like an annoying fly, and Chris just keeps coming back like you're the villain, and he keeps trying to paint him in that sense of like, oh, you putting your hands on me, bro? What are you talking? No, I'm just talking to you. He's kind of painting him as the villain. Like Nate just keeps deflecting all of it, and at a certain point, it honestly, I wrote down, I actually think that Chris coming in and doing this is one of the best things that could have happened to Nate, because nothing invalidates Chris's claim from last week more than him looking like an actual crazy person this week. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they were secure before. She probably didn't have any lingering doubts, but if there were, it's like, actually that news last week literally came from an insane person, and no one else is voicing that. We'll see what Clayton means by you're an actor coming on this show. I feel like that's completely out of context, because I feel like him and Nate are close in real life, just from, I don't know, the vibes I'm getting. But again, we'll see. My thing though, we didn't really talk about this that much last episode. Did Nate even do anything wrong?
No,
like,
I think
all
he
he
did
said
touch on it, but he did not. He even said it in the on his one-on-one with the friends. He's like, all I said was I feel like I'm gonna make it through. Like I have my rose. Like.
Yeah, and the whole thing about like guys in that position, the Bachelorette's always telling them, just be patient. Just be patient. You'll get one. So all he's doing is being confident in the relationship, being like, of course you're going to think that. What? If you think that this woman is your potential wife to be, you're going to be like, well, she might not feel the same way. You got to be in with that mindset. And I think Michelle just finds that, honestly, I think she just finds it hot. It's just 100%.
Yeah, like why would you not want your guy to be confident about your relationship? Like, it's
and
not,
that is all he
said. He never said he was winning at all. That's what Chris thinks he said.
And he never used the word like even like win. He's literally like, he has never thought of this show in a competition sense. Like he was calling it Jamie like, what are we talking about, viewers? The man literally just now he's on the 101 being like, I thought I was getting a 101. This is days later. I'm on the 101. Yeah. So am I good? I mean, Chris goes full villain mode. I think this is the first one-on-one date interruption we've ever seen in franchise history.
I know it doesn't happen a lot, but
I went back in the archives and I could not
figured it might have happened once, but
couldn't think of a single instance. We do have a few great fact checkers. Zayla Hooper, get on your trivia shit. We need to know. But I think this is the first time we've seen it with group dates, obviously, a bunch. But Yeah, very, 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 very awkward moment.
Is there a tougher look than interrupting a one-on-one? Like, I don't care
Well, it's
who
like
you are. Even
obviously
if
that's not gonna go
Joe
well.
walked up and was like, "Yeah, I need to talk." Like, sorry, my man, that's not the move.
That's not the move. And good for Michelle. She wastes no time, just sends him home, which is kind of a producer's nightmare, but it was a glorious exit. It was a great exit, I thought. It was exactly what I wanted. He has to watch. She didn't even walk him all the way down the escalator. I think she was good. And she goes, oh, that's a long way. Kind of want to just get back to Nate's. And so she leaves him. He walks it himself. She says he has good intentions. He might in his own twisted, short little mind, but you're the villain, dude. Sorry. Yeah. But he'll be back. We'll see him on Paradise for 1,000%.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I would bet my life on it. And he's going to get ripped apart with the little title cards. They're going to be switching it up on him like crazy. They're going to say like 5, 6 3/4 or something ridiculous, like just something. They're going to be ripping him apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we say goodbye to Chris, and then we have a few guys. Well, but okay, let's dive into the. You know what? No. We'll dive into the cocktail party, and then we can talk about Martin. Mm-hmm. So, very competitive group, though. I want to say this, and that's addressed at the beginning. Obviously, Leroy and Casey, I think, were the obvious exits.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
I think this was a clear example of the producers saying, "You got to keep Martin around because we want a villain next week," and that's great. That's great for us. We always love a villain. But. Martin, man, this guy loves digging himself in a hole, which makes me think maybe you're just a douchebag who's been able to be charming for a decent amount, right? And then you slip up
with it for so long, and then he fucked up and he couldn't bring himself back up. So
I think he was fishing for. He was literally, to me at least, as a guy who loves fishing for compliments. No, I think he was just fishing for another compliment, being like, "Oh, I gotta wonder if you're just saying all this stuff to all the guys." And he's just begging for reassurance of like, no, you're exceptional. Like, no, oh, you're special. And she goes, "Do I seem like someone who would just blow smoke up your ass?" And he goes, "Oh, no, you don't." She goes, "What are we talking about?"
Yeah.
And just kind of shuts him up. And then when he said this, I thought, oh,
he doubled down.
We're over it.
Bad way.
No, you're not high maintenance. And she goes, "No, I'm not high maintenance." And she goes, "Oh yeah, I love that because so many girls in Miami are high maintenance." Oh, dude, is this your first time talking to a woman?
Yeah,
and like every woman knows.
In saying like, sure, like that's not the thing to say, obviously, but the way you dig yourself out, don't you just say the same? Like she kept asking, she's like, "What makes a guy high maintenance then?" And what like
you say the same thing.
You say the same thing. That's it. That's it.
Like, the exact same thing.
Yeah,
like just
the same thing.
I think what he was saying is he wants an equality. Like he wants someone who there's going to be give and take in a partnership. But then he goes full misogynist.
Yeah. Like,
and he goes, "Well, guys don't really do that." Like, oh, bro, you're doing it right now, man. Yeah. You're doing it right now in front of her. Yeah. She is not feeling it. But are you, here's a question. Are you, well, okay, let's bring this up first. Martin's friends with Jamie. Now he's friends with Chris. And we remember Jamie only said that news to Martin specifically. Then Martin with the guys is like a completely different dude too. He's talking about like, "Oh, so she said this," and he's completely making her tone way more aggressive than she was speaking, way more confrontational. It's just so annoying. Like, dude, we have cameras in both spots. Like, just comes across very, very bad look. But are you glad that the producers basically put Martin through to next week just so we have a villain? Was a party like,
I think so. Yeah. Like we need that villain around, especially like you said, he's pulling the strings. So we gotta see the mastermind fall from grace.
That's what I mean. He might even be the douchiest of all of them. Honestly.
Yeah, he's like the mega douche. He's just like
the king douche.
Yeah, and he's just, I feel like in a sense, I feel like he's kind of manipulated both of them. Like not in a like they had those ideals going in, but Martin's just like reassuring them like, "Oh yeah, that's the right approach. Like you should definitely
and he might believe it.
He might believe it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I look, and you know what? Well, I'll get into it later. But yeah, I mean, I think this had to be the least amount of suspense in a rose ceremony, though. It was Rodney versus Leroy and Casey at the end. I don't know why they ordered it like that. It should have been Martin, Leroy and Casey.
Yeah, 100%.
I knew. I wonder who's getting the rose.
It's like in the friend zone or whatever, but like still, he's got more of a relationship.
Not really, though.
Not really. Yeah, like he's.
Yeah.
It would have been.
He is riding that handshake hard.
I don't think they realized until I don't know, man. They just fucked that up.
It was weird. I think they messed that up.
It would have been so anticlimactic to see a Martin exit right after all this, just like immediately after. But yeah, they should have ordered it differently for sure. Like who, like Leroy? I don't even think he's had a confessional. Like,
dude, it's absurd. It's been a while since we've had someone make it this far and seen that little of him. Casey had his moments.
We saw all the time. Like he was always mediating and talking and doing confessionals, and Leroy just kind of was sitting in the background doing nothing.
I was gonna say, oh well, it's not bad for him though. He came out looking good. He came out looking like just me. Like he came out looking like a civilian. Like I honestly, I don't know if anything is good. Like he's not really going to get that much of a following. Hopefully he does, because he's I don't know. Seems like he has a fun like the guys seem to really like him.
Yeah.
The moments we've seen with him on the date seem fun. Great fashion sense. Good looking dude. He's obviously smart. He's a PhD, biomedical sciences student or something along those lines. So seems like an interesting guy.
Mm-hmm.
See you on Paradise, my man. I think next Paradise could just be Michelle's cast. Run it back. I think this year's cast is fantastic.
That's the problem though. You run it back with a cast, and then we get like Katie's season where they're just broing out the whole time.
Yes. Which is fun. You're very, very right.
It has its moments, but like, come on, we're in Paradise. We gotta make some stuff happen.
Also, that final trio of guys, Casey, Rodney, and Leroy, hilarious trio of names for 2021.
Yeah,
like you would honestly think that this show got filmed in 1980 if you told me it was down to Leroy and Rodney going home.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The rose ceremony, not shocking. People stand are the people that you would imagine, but now we're down into plus Martin, but we're down into the very, very, very competitive group of guys. 8 guys left, I think. That's very surprising. Mm-hmm. Very surprising. Feel like we're only on week 5, but we'll see what happens next week. We're getting down into the nitty gritty, and I'm very, very excited. Gary, you ready to jump into our roses and thorns real quick?
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, let's start with the negative. You want to go first?
Chris S crashing Nate's date. Like, what?
Nice.
What are we doing?
You couldn't even watch it.
No, I couldn't, man. Like I was cringing so hard already. I was like, I can't handle this right now.
Yeah.
I know David's gonna sit through it. I'll just.
Oh, I had to. No, totally fair.
I might go back and watch it honestly, because like I
just watch a YouTube clip.
Does love the cringe, but I just couldn't handle it in the moment.
It was tough stuff. I'm glad you're going, and I hate to go just people sometimes because it seems basic, but I'm glad you went Chris. And let's just cover our bases here. I'm gonna go Martin. I'm gonna go with Martin. But you know why? I was gonna mention this earlier. I think why we would both have some ill will towards Martin on top of him just being a douche. He tricked us, man. He tricked me because he literally was coasting off one moment at the Top Gun group date. Where he took her aside and just talked to her when she needed it. He took that one moment and coasted for 3 weeks. Long. He got a one-on-one date with it. He got a bunch of group date opportunities to take her aside. This man had like 8 strikes and one hit at bat. But you got me. You got me, Martin. You got almost everybody. You had me apologizing for making fun of your haircut, and that should never happen. I should have never apologized for that. Haircut is inexcusable, and tragically, I'm going to have to see it on Paradise. But this time, I'm not holding anything back. Now I know who you are. But I think he will be on Paradise.
And we're gonna get the classic, like, oh, I've really worked on myself.
Oh, he'll have gone to therapy.
Yeah,
and then we'll be getting a bunch of the Miami girls in there. Maybe a couple of them will be like, why am I high maintenance? And he'll have prepared an answer. I think we can see us a mile away. All right, hit me with your rose.
I actually said Joe's date. It was what we were looking for. We said it last week. Tone it down a little bit. Let's get some, good hometown love it, and that's what we got with Minnesota Joe. No complaints. Like, I thought for some reason I saw in the preview that like her and Joe were like hashing something out, but just never came. So
yeah. Well, in the preview, I think they edited him crying into like which is always devastating. Him talking about his depression and anxiety, and then they're switching into like he might get broken up with, he might be friends. Yeah, it's just like, but that's the show. But always unfortunate when your trauma is fodder for 4 weeks. Like they're showing the same clip, they're like, see, you might be going home. But yeah, that's a great one. You know what? I'm actually going to go the inverse of your thorn. I'm going to give a quick one to Casey. Show it to Casey. We need more of him in some capacity. Maybe just starts a podcast. Maybe we get him on this podcast. We'll see. Just we'll see. But I'm also going to give it to Chris's exit, dude. I love stuff like that. And you know it. I love a cringy villain exit. It lived up. It was amazing. Watching Nate just really not worried whatsoever. Michelle had literally just said this is one of the best days in my life. And then this short little munchkin comes over and tries to ruin the date. I thought it was spectacular.
A cute ass moment though, when she was like, "This is like the best day of my life," and he's like, "Oh, like of all time, like ever?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Oh, it was adorable. I love that date. I loved it. It was a great episode for both your guy Joe, my guy Nate.
That's
this is one of the best.
I keep thinking I have it in the bag, or then you have it in the bag. I don't know, man. It's so up in the air.
They're so different too. Like it all depends what she's feeling.
I know the listeners think Brandon's in this race, and like Nick might be in this race.
They're great. They're great guys, but they're not winning.
No,
they're not winning. They're not. That's fine. And like, you can disagree with me. We'll see. And we'll be right. It's one of those two. But that's okay. We shall see in the weeks to come. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a lot of fun to watch and recap. Feels good to be back watching our favorite program. Next week, I will not be here. I will be subbed out, hopefully, for my man Carson Cooper coming back for a week. So if you're new to the program this season, if he bails, then, oh man, then we're in a world of trouble. But I will not be here. I will be happy to be back. The next week, though, producer Gary will be here as always on the ones and twos, helping to keep this engine moving. But guys, for now, rate, review, subscribe. It helps a ton. And producer Gary, remember,
a wet bird never flies at night.
Thank you. Peace.